All right, welcome back, everyone, as we do have a big week of games on campus. Of course, we just talked about the WNIT game, but a couple of big games for JMU Lacrosse, as tomorrow night the Dukes entertain the 19th-ranked Virginia Cavaliers. Cavaliers at 4-4, and then on Saturday, that's a 1 o'clock start, the Dukes and the Maryland, or that's a 2 o'clock start on Saturday. The Dukes and the Maryland Terrapins. The Terrapins 7-0, number 1 in the country, putting up about 17 goals per contest. The Dukes are 6-3. JMU getting a balanced offensive attack. I'm sure Coach Klaes-Bawcombe will talk a little bit about that. They have 5 players that have scored anywhere between 14 and 21 goals. Hannah Haven leads the club with 21, and Kristen Gaudian with 20. Haley Warden is the top defender, 22 caused turnovers at this stage, and a team best 29 draw controls. She's on the Tewaaraton watch list as one of the top players in the country. The Dukes are averaging just over 13 goals a game, yielding only 8 1/3. Starting goalkeeper has been Emily Poma, and she's yielding 8.3 goals per contest. Shelley Klaes-Bawcombe was a 2-time All-American when she actually wore the uniform for the Dukes, and now she, of course, is coaching them. She's a member of the JMU Athletic Hall of Fame, and she just recently broke the JMU coaching record with her 119th coaching win, leading the Dukes. She has a current record of 121 wins and 70 losses. And again, Madazone will have both productions beginning on Wednesday night at 7 and on Saturday at 2. Okay, Coach Klaes-Bawcombe, it's yours. She will make an opening statement and then opening up for questions. All right, Shelley, thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to extend a thank you to Chris Brooks and Kurt Dudley and Kevin Warner and Coach O'Regan for giving me the opportunity to be here today. One of the things that we're trying to do is play well, win games, so that we can get this kind of media attention. So we really do appreciate the exposure. I'm sure that Coach Regan is at the point in his career where this is just another thing in his day. He gets to come up here and he gets to speak to you guys about the little small stories that happen behind the scenes and what's going on in his head. And as I sat here and listened to him, I just was in awe of the opportunity that he gets, that I'm afforded today, and it's exceptional. And I just wanted to thank JMU Athletics for giving me this opportunity, because you'll know after a couple minutes with me today, I love to talk about our program. I think we've got a lot of great things to speak about, and it's just an honor to be here with you today. So thank you.
Obviously, you guys got Leah back, now three games ago. I think she's now played. What was her reintroduction to the team meant for you guys?
Leah Monticello, sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm actually hoping to start her in the game tomorrow night versus UVA. She's been dealt a tough card at JMU. She had 2 compartment syndrome surgeries before this ACL that happened this past season, and it took her a whole year to get back. She's been a 3-year starter for us. She was an all-conference preseason player, and for her to have to sit on the sidelines and watch things, it's been really hard. I've been so impressed with her ability to come in and not try to make too much of a difference, right? She needs to make a difference enough for us to recognize her ability, for her to earn her opportunity back, but also remember what brought her to her success in the past. And so I've been really impressed with her unselfishness, her willingness to maintain our team chemistry. But what I think separates her from a lot of the players is her game sense. She just sees the game so well. We've been running an offense with 3 back behind the goal. When we add her into that mix, she's showing Katie Kerrigan, our top crease player, how to do it, what she sees and what she wants from her. And she just is becoming that glue again. And so she makes everyone else look good, you know? She's still not 100%. She still doesn't have her dodging game to the level that I want it to be, but we still have a good half of the season left, so I'm excited to see that develop as she gains her confidence back.
Coach, tell us what you like about this year's team. Kind of what's the makeup, and what do you like about them as their head coach?
You know, we as a team, we do pride ourselves in personality. I think that when we are playing free, we're just being ourselves. We play our best game, and this team has no drama. Something that we pride ourselves in, really trying to never have drama, but the only way you can have no drama is if you tack drama. And they are so good at dealing with conflict as it comes, and so it's light, it's fresh, it's fun, and they're able to just be loose, and that's when we play our best ball. So I think it's really the fact that I'm enjoying them. There's not a lot of drama. They're managing their own off-field relationships and commitment levels, and they're a young team playing mature lacrosse, so it's a lot of fun.
Tomorrow night is the start of 4 straight opponents that are currently ranked. I guess the old cliche of one game at a time applies here, but what are you hoping to see from your players in this stretch of 4 games that will give you an indication of how well this team can do late in the season, postseason?
Right. That whole conversation about ranked opponents, I think this is what gets us in trouble. We were ranked a couple of weeks ago. We're not ranked now. Are we a better team now than then? No, we're the same team. Doesn't matter rankings. We're comfortable enough playing opponents that are ranked because we do it all the time. So for us, it's about the next game and not giving anyone more value because they're ranked. And we've had to learn that mentality the hard way. I learned with this whole winningest coach accolade that I've been, as a program, ranked 9 out of the last season. Didn't even know that. Because it's not about rankings, it's about getting that at-large bid at the end of the year, getting the AQ. And at James Madison, it's tough to be ranked against these Power 5 programs. We beat Virginia Tech. They're in the rankings right now, but yet we had one hiccup against Rutgers, boom, we're out. We don't get to make mistakes at JMU. So for us, it's another game. Yes, we understand the clout behind rankings. It means people care about them. They got a lot of hype. But UVA is a great team. They were a great team last week when they weren't ranked. This week they're ranked. So for us, it's another game. UVA is tough. They transition the ball really well. When they're on, they're really good. They're a little bit mental this year, so we're hoping to take advantage of that. And then it doesn't stop. Maryland, number 1 in the country. They're reloading with all freshmen and sophomores. Must be nice, for them. We're doing the same thing technically, but I think it's just a challenge, and it's an opportunity to get out there, play against the best, and redefine what this program's trying to do this year. And I think both of these teams are capable of being beat, and that's why we put them on the schedule.
Coach, this first year with a shot clock. For folks who aren't familiar, tell us how it's changed the game, how your team has responded, and are there teams out there having difficulty adjusting to that?
We love it. I just think it's such a great rule change. It's about evolving your sport and making it a sport that is easy to watch, understandable. It's such an athletic, fast sport that I think having the black and white clock allows us to play the game. Lacrosse is such a possession game. It can be ugly, it can be on the ground, it can be in the air. People can lose possession. Sometimes it's tough to get it back, and possession was becoming everything, and you were able to hold the ball. Once you got the ball, you were able to hold it for as long as you wanted. So you could do that as early in the game as you wanted, depending on your strategy and your skill sets. And some teams were doing that. You get 1 goal up, boom, the rest of the game, they're going to slow it down. And so this rule is forcing us to play the game. And a team like ours, a run and gun team, a team that likes to be loose, that likes to, trust their instincts and play the game, we're thriving in it. I think that what you're seeing, it's not necessary. I don't think we're far enough into the year yet to know which teams aren't doing well with it and which teams are doing well with it, because there's so much parity in our sport. People are beating up on everyone. There's a lot of upsets right now. But I do think what we're finding is that goaltending is becoming that much more important. It's a really different thing mentally to take a shot when you want to take a shot as opposed to taking a shot when you have to take a shot. And that's what we see in the sport of basketball. The difference is there's no goaltender in basketball. So you might have all this great play action, all this great ball movement. You might choose to take a shot or a dodge, but boom, out of nowhere comes this goalie. Oh yeah, we have to beat that person too. So I think it's really shaking the game up in a good way. I think it's really clean now. You understand what's going on. It's a time and score situation. As the clock winds down, you see 7 minutes on the clock. That could be 6 possessions. And now you can start to think basketball. And for me, coming from basketball, it's really natural. Most of my athletes have played basketball. It's very comfortable for them too, and we're able to talk way more in a black and white scenario, which helps us to be able to make plans and organize from a coaching perspective.
Coach, how much does that influence what you're doing defensively in forcing shooting lanes so that Emily, whoever is in goal, can anticipate when a shot will actually be taken?
That's a great question, Kurt. It's probably the second biggest thing that has changed besides the importance of goaltending. Zone defense has become really important and imperative to be able to clog space. And so most teams are now going into zones or dabbling, just like basketball does, with rotating from man-style defenses to zone-style defenses to try to shake it up, to keep teams from being able to get their hands free for that shot. And free position shots are becoming more, you're seeing 13 in a game now, 9 in a game now, whereas before it was hard to get 5 free position shots. And that's going to become a really important stat, is can you execute your free position opportunities to hold those zone defenses accountable and force them back into a man.
Kurt in front of me there. Lost your train. You talk about goaltending, obviously. I mean, to give up 8.3 goals a game. I mean, how much of that is on Emily and sort of her improvement this season? How much is that, like you talk about, just defensively and having to change up the defensive strategy?
I think it's a combination of both. We've been a great program for a long time with high power offense and hoping to score more goals. And I'm really excited. I was talking to Chris before I came up here today. Our national rankings in our defensive stats is an incredible improvement in our program. We have a coach, Emily Boissonneau, who comes from Team Canada. She competes for World Cup. She's our defensive coach. It's her second year with me. And then we have a goalie coach, Carrie Studhoff, who plays professionally for Baltimore Ride, and she's working with our goalie. So I think the combination of both of those ladies' leadership and influence into our defensive packages is just building confidence everywhere. Emily is really organized, and she's got everything really black and white again to help them make decisions and allow our athleticism to show through a little bit more. That's why we're causing more turnovers. We're getting more ground balls, cleaning up that trash in the defensive zone. But I think the zone itself is forcing tougher shots, meaning they're easier for Emily to save. She's in good positioning. Positioning has been her strength all along. And she's doing a great job of baiting on her free positions to try to come up with those saves as well. So I really do think it's a combination of the defensive unit coming together, a little bit more aggressive style, and just a really strong lacrosse IQ, so they're playing well with each other and just playing good basic defense.
Coach, you gave similarities to basketball, and of course in basketball, sharing the ball, getting an assist is an important stat. How do you feel your team is sharing the ball this year and being able to score from that?
I think we're doing well. I think that we started off really strong, and then I think we've kind of hit a plateau. We have gotten a lot of really great assist action from Katie Kerrigan behind the goal, and Hannah Haven, lefty up, coming flat across the goal. Now that Leah Monticello is back, I'm hoping to see her add to the mix there. But we've got to be able to make better decisions about when we feed the ball so that we're not putting our teammates in a crash situation where in that zone everyone's crashing on them, because we're expecting them to make some really tough plays, catching that ball, taking that hit, and finishing. So I think it's a combination of our skill sets, being able to catch in tight and finish, but also make better choices when we're setting our teammates up inside, trying to penetrate that zone.
Last year you had number 1 North Carolina here. This year you've got number 1 Maryland here. Talk about being able to bring in the top-ranked teams in lacrosse to come play at JMU, what that means to the respect that your program is established in the world of lacrosse.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, it's pretty awesome opportunity to be here at James Madison and Harrisonburg and attract all of these really high-profile athletic departments. It makes our fans excited. It makes our girls excited. It's a big part of the reason why the athletes that we get choose JMU. They have an opportunity to go and play at UVA and maybe hope and pray that works out for them, or come to JMU and have a chance to beat UVA and make their name a part of that JMU success. And And it's a big part of our recruiting spiel and why we breed that championship mentality. We're not afraid to take those risks. I think it's because they know they're going to get a great game. You know, the first thing that Jenny Levy, the UNC coach, said to me when I shook her hand after that game is, every year you give us a great game. And that's what she wants. She wants her team to be prepared. I mean, just like we are fighting for a national championship, so are they. Missy at Penn State, same thing. Every year it's a one-goal game. That's what she said to me. You know, I'm like, I know, but I want to be on the other side of it this time. But it's true. I mean, we're not afraid to not only schedule these teams, but we actually believe we can compete and beat them. And I think that that's a hubris that we're really proud of within our program.
First, I want to say that I'm a big fan of the shot clock as well, and maybe Josh remembers, but I covered the 2012 final between Syracuse and Northwestern. You can see what Northwestern did at the end of that game.
Exactly.
Anyway, how has the sport of lacrosse here in the Valley changed since you were a player? Because obviously the sport is growing. EMU just down the road just added the program to its sports. How do you think the sport has grown, and how much do you think that has been because of JMU?
Well, I think anytime you can have a successful college team in your community, it gives exposure at the highest level, and little children, little girls, little boys can dream big about maybe playing on that stage at some point. I think that where we are challenged in this community is a grassroots level. And everyone wants me to be the one to make that effort, and I would love to, absolutely love to. I have a 5-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son who I would love to play this sport, but it takes a lot to win games too, and ultimately that's what I came here to do, is get JMU on the national map for the sport of lacrosse. So I've got to prioritize my time right now, but I think that it can grow. I think it starts in the physical education programs, and I think that if we can get strong unit plans in the school systems and get the exposure opportunities like this where I can come out and talk about my sport, I think it's only going to help, because it's a great combination of some wonderful, fun sports to watch: basketball, soccer, hockey. You even have the cuts and runs like football. You have the physicality of football. So I think that there's a lot of great connection between all these other sports that people do love. They just got to learn that they can get it all in the sport of lacrosse.
Shelley, you talked about this being a pretty young team, and just from the observations of watching the results thus far, certainly individuals are going to develop at a particular rate, some faster than others, but do you feel like this team might be coming along collectively about the same rate, certainly give and take here or there?
Yeah, I think that we're really led by a few of our juniors. Haley Warden in the midfield is just been just a quiet, dominant player for us since her freshman year. She's showing that a lot through her draw controls, but she sees the game so well, and she really leads this team. Rebecca Tooker has such an edge on the defensive end. I mean, she's tough. She's total Long Island grit. And, she's just not afraid of anything, and she's so contagious with that mentality to the rest of the team. And then I think Monticello and Poma have just kind of, cleaned up the rest of that trash as leaders. And, Elena Romsberg in the midfield, she's just been incredible for us. And those are just a few of the players. And then you have everyone else, which is what you're talking about. Everyone is playing a great level of ball. And when you can have a leadership by committee, or what Chris and I were talking about, that there's no egos on this team. Everyone's playing for each other. And, it's that same quote, it's when you don't care who gets the credit, it's amazing what can happen. And I think that's what's going on right now. Everyone's stepping up day to day. You might have Margaret Tucker Fogarty scoring all the goals, or Hannah Haven, or Kristen Gaudian. You never really know who's going to be our person that we're leaning on.
So help me out a little bit. Tomorrow we'll open up the broadcast on Madazone. What would be a key against Virginia tomorrow that we can tell the fans that are watching?
Well, I think in most games you're going to be dealing with draw controls. It's one of UVA's strengths. It's something that we've struggled with when we compete against them head-to-head. So I'm excited for this team. I think our rope unit in Haley Ward and Hannah Jablonski and Elena Romsberg has been awesome. So I'm really excited to see how they manage that challenge. And then I think limiting transition opportunities. UVA is really fast, really athletic, and they push that ball really well. They've got great ball movement, and they're great dodgers. So if we can limit transition opportunities and force them into a settled game, I think we're going to do well. On the offensive end, we got to finish our chances. Depending on how the draw goes, we have more opportunities than less, so it comes back to the draw game. But I think both teams are really valuing this game, and so I think it's going to be a dogfight.
All right, Coach. Any other questions from members of the media? All right. Coach Klaes-Bawcombe, thank you for joining us here today. Best of luck tomorrow against Virginia, Saturday against the Maryland Terrapins, and throughout the rest of your 2017 season.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming out this afternoon at O'Neill's Grill for our weekly Fan and Press Luncheon. Again, Thursday night, JMU women's basketball against Villanova at 7 o'clock. And, of course, we do have the Lacrosse Dukes tomorrow night at 7, Saturday at 2. Baseball at home, a 3-game series against Delaware Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thank you once again for joining us, and have a great week.